Hello again, FlossTube, YouTube, Stitchers everywhere. It's Cowgirl Kate again, and for this video I'd like to feature where I like to stitch most often. I know some of you have craft rooms or a little nook area, whatever you want to call it, in your living rooms or your basements or whatever. It's my dream to have a craft room. I ain't there yet. I'd like to have a studio too, but that's not happened yet. This house is a lot smaller than our other one. So, yeah, a lot of that stuff is still in storage. Anyway, moving on. The stitching area where I most often do my work is right here. It's literally my little corner for stitching. And you can see here. This is why I like it. It's got the two windows, so the light's coming in both ways. And I apologize, it's rather brighter than I thought it would be on the camera here. But it also, again, it makes it so much easier to deal with working over one, like for the heights and, you know, over one skin and such. So I have this old chair and this little old table. It's got little wheels on it, if you look closely. And I can wheel that out if I want to, if I need more space or, you know, need to get out of the sun because it's warm. So it's just a very handy little thing. I wish it was bigger, but then I probably wouldn't be able to move it around so much. So, over here, sorry my chair creaks, we got the OttLite. And I'll probably feature this little cupboard in another video because it'll make it too long and I hate cutting you guys off. But anyway, that's full of stitching bits and bobs and jewelry and such. So anyway, we'll get to that in another one. If you look down here, I have these little Japanese china dishes. And there's a reason they're here. This one, so pretty. This one holds the orts. And it's got a cover. I love that. They don't get dusty. The cats can't get in them. It's great. This big one back here, being the table is so little, I usually have my threads that I'm, you know, working on, my scissors maybe, and it just keeps them together and, you know, with moving around, nothing's getting knocked off onto the floor. This and the other one are probably my favorites. If you're ever in an antique store or china shop, whatever, and you can find a shallow little dish like this, grab it. And the reason I say that is because for me, I love to do beadwork. So I would dump the beads into a shallow little bowl like this, and then rather than picking them up in one hand and threading them onto the needle, you can just scoop them and it goes 10 times faster. It saves so much time. I love my little shallow dishes. They're just a wonderful feature and I won't part with them. They're little stitchy treasure hoards or whatever. So I'm just going to set these aside for now. And we'll go on to this. This is actually, I'll bring it out here where you can see better. It was a wooden treasure chest or trunk or whatever. I picked it up at Michael's. I have to think. We'll just say I was 14 when I made this. And I gave it to my aunt. And that was a long, long, long time ago. But when she passed away, it came back to me. So I use it for my stitching. I think about her. The jewelry box also, that came from my godmother. And I just like to keep it around to, you know, remember her too. But for this one, I keep my Heaven and Earth materials. It's like a toolkit. So I got my thread that I used for the gridding. There's also this, the highlighters. Oops. The blue marking pen. And the Easy Count, if I can get in there. Nope, there's a shadow. I'll bring it out. This Easy Easy Count red fishing line. It says it cuts cross-stitching time by 1/3, and I'm sure that that's how they've sold millions of it. But there's the information. I haven't used it yet on a Heaven and Earth, but I've heard good things about it, so I grabbed some. And then this thing. It's actually, I grabbed it out of a quilting shop that my LNS also features quilting in their stuff. So you can do both while you're there. But I haven't gotten into quilting yet. I'm sure it's a rabbit hole. I use this to mark off where my Heaven and Earth starting point is. So it's kind of easy. I usually have 3 inches extra fabric for a border around my stitching. And I just stick this down in the corner and start marking from there and go out, and I don't even have to measure. I just throw that little thing down and let's get to it. So yeah, that's the Heaven and Earth stuff they need. So, and then up here, this thing here, I think it's an antique toothpick holder. I think that's what its purpose was. It's made of amethyst glass. In my area there's a lot of antique shops and secondhand stores, and they're just full of little everything. You know, that's where I got the Japanese dishes. Yeah, they just have all that kinds of stuff. And I keep my highlighters in it. I don't put toothpicks in it. This is the only needle minder I have. And it's a honeybee one. Honeycomb, honey hive, or whatever. I plan to get more of these. I think what they're doing with them now is just so fun. I want to make a couple or pick up a few or whatever when I get a chance. This is the invisible beading threads. And I like using the invisible thread. I did floss on that Janlin kit one, and I've never liked it, but I've never, you know, had the guts to rip out the fabric or rip the threads and put the invisible in. You guys are gonna laugh, but you can see that needle. That's the original needle that I used for that Janlin project, and I've kept it like Gollum and the One Ring because I've never been able to find one to replace it. And if it's not actually tied to a project, it's sitting in this spool of thread, so I know exactly where it is, because I'd be lost without it. I have yet to find any to replace it. I know it's a quilting needle, but I have no idea other than that. I've taken it to quilting shops and I haven't found one skinny enough like it. I don't like the long skinny beading needles for doing beads on needlework. They drive me crazy. I like this short one, so I keep it close tabs on it. This little guy, he's just a little pincushion that my son gave me. I'm sure that wasn't its original purpose, but you know, that's what he's doing now. And these are counting pins. And what they were, their story is they were just an ordinary pin and some super Sculpey. I don't know if I can get it to focus. And what you do is you make the Sculpey however shape you want. You mold it onto that pin or whatever up at the top, and then you cook it in the oven, you know, according to the directions. And when it's done, it'll come out, and I put sparkly nail polish on it, but it'll come out like a plastic. So they've just been a little fun thing, and I use them for counting when I'm marking off the Haid fabrics, or, you know, samplers when you have to move so many rows. And there's a little fish like Dory, and a seashell up there too. I've made several sets. I made a horse set, a Halloween set, garden set, some koalas for a friend who was obsessed with koalas, and some other ones, but the other ones are all packed away. These just happened to be sitting out in him because I was using it, and so they didn't get packed away in all the rest of the stuff. But they're super fun to do. They take about 10 minutes to make. Anybody could do that. So if you're looking for a way to make some fun little pins, Get yourself some I can't talk. Super Sculpey clay. It comes in a zillion different colors. And I didn't paint any of that. That's just the actual colors of the clay. You can make it however you want, cook it up, and you'll have your own stitchy pins. I mean, how fun is that? Seriously. So this concludes the gist of where I like to work for my sewing. My husband likes to go to bed early at night, so a lot of times I get kicked out of here and I'm working on the couch. But during the day, if I get some time, this is where you'll probably find me. So, at least in the winter time. Summertime, it's anybody's guess. So anyways, that's where that is. Thank you all for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing more of where you guys like to work. And in another video, I'll feature the little jewelry box that's sitting on the table and all the stuff that's in there. That stuff too was a lot of fun to make or to utilize. So I hope to see you soon. Bye.